Hello everyone, Alzion the Great here. Welcome back to the Texas Rangers franchise on MLB 22. As today, we head down to AA and AAA for the opening day for the minor league teams of the Texas Rangers, starting off with Jack Leiter and the Frisco Rough Riders here. But the man you see walking on the mound could be the future of the Texas Rangers pitching rotation. We're expecting big things from him in his minor league, or at least a AA debut this year. The expectations for Jack are for him to be dominant and just pretty much take care of business. Soon he'll be called up to AAA, and potentially next year up to the majors. But everyone's road to the show begins a little bit differently, as Leiter, the top prospect, throws his first pitch in AA, as it is a slider below the zone to Jose Caballero. Leiter later in a 2-2 count does manage to get the strikeout, and I'm going to try and keep this pretty quick today, as I just want to show a little bit. I'll focus on individual prospects as the season goes on, as Leiter gets a one-pitch ground out to the next batter. And then Dom Thompson-Williams, a player Mr. Hurricane has made me very familiar with, flies out to right field to end the first, or top of the first. That will bring up the first hitter for the Frisco Rough Riders on the season, Bubba Thompson, as he gets a 2-2 count against Ian McKinney, almost said McKissy, as he grounds out to third. And as I said, this team, we're going to get to know some of these players. As the season goes on, I'm going to, have a couple prospect spotlight episodes, I guess is what it would be, as a ball hit off McKinney's ankle for a hit, brings up Ryan Doro. But, yeah, most of the time it's just going to be, maybe added-ons a little bit of episodes, just a little bit of a prospect checkup or spotlight, during the season. I'm not going to focus too much on the minors, as this ball is hit into left field for a base hit as well. This brings up Justin Foscue, who on the first pitch, his at-bat hits a long fly ball that is foul but catchable and caught for the end of the first. And then we obviously go to quick sim, my preferred way of doing things, as Leiter is still on the mound, gets one guy out, two ground outs and a strikeout, which gets us to the second and back into the team with Luis Angel Acuna, a guy I'm going to keep my eye on very heavily because I cannot wait to see if he has any sort of, of the stuff that his brother has, or a brother cousin. You know what? Actually, let me go check on that real quick. Yes, indeed, he is the brother of Ronald Acuna. His nickname is also Jose. Well, Jose on a 3-1 count flies out to left, and that brings up Julio Pablo Martinez, who in a 2-2 count grounds it up the middle, but not past the shortstop, as he, despite his flying speed, gets out. That brings up Hernandez, as he grounds to the right side and gets a single out of that. And we'll see how everyone, interacts with each other. And the last person we'll see is Diospel Arias, as he gets a 2-2 count, and he strikes out. So nothing through the first part of the lineup for the Rough Riders. But as we keep going, Leiter still trying to put this game away. Gives up 2 hits, but then strikeout. Try to pick off, didn't work, didn't get a pop-up. Then, as the second time through the lineup, Thompson gets a double. Aparicio with a good ground out door with a single. Good fundamental baseball there. Stolen base leads to another run as Sam Huff hits a single. The team's hitting McKinney very well. And Leiter was doing really well early on. And the fact we were hitting well is also very good, as we get Yanni Hernandez up to second, but it does not work. But Leiter, strikeout, ground out. He just kept on going. There was nothing really stopping him, as the team was doing pretty well. Ian McKinney did not have a good debut, as now bases loaded for Julio Pablo Martinez, as he does manage to get in 2 runs. Yanni Hernandez batting, brings in a new pitcher. So overall, the AA team looked pretty darn good hitting wise, and obviously we all know who Jack Leader was. I actually wanted to do something similar that I've done in the MLB, steal second, just have that guy there and then let the rest of the at-bat play out. So that worked in that way, and I'll keep doing that if I see opportunities to do such a thing. Did not result in much of anything else, but Leader just trying to get through this lineup. He got through 6 innings with still enough energy, and the team was piling on the runs, or at least they had just piled on the runs. Now it's 8-0, but Leader still had half energy going into the 7th. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just see how far I can push it with Leader, and just see how good he can do in his AA, debut. Got to the 8th inning, facing 9-1-2, gets a ground out, a strikeout, gives up a double, then a single, so he gives up a run, and then the bases are loaded, and decided that was enough for Jack. So he almost got it, perfect, or not perfect, but almost got super far in the game. Ended up putting in Nick Snyder, gives up a walk, gives up an error, and now I'm concerned, but then it's a ground out. So even though we gave up 3 runs in the 8th, we're still good. And then just let Snyder finish out that game as the Rough Riders win their first game of the season against the Arkansas Travelers, 9-3. Jack Leader gets his win, and we'll be monitoring his progress for absolute certain. But there's not many people on this AA team that I'm like, okay, you are going to be major league impact in like 2 years at the very least, besides Leader. So we'll see how it happens. But yeah, only really Jack Leader is the entire reason I'm looking at the AA team right now. The only other reason, maybe Luis Angel Acuna. But with that out of the way, let's get up to AAA in the Round Rock Express. And today, honestly, against the El Paso Chihuahuas, we actually got a treat. As in this game, we had the luck of facing the El Paso Chihuahuas, and that team belongs to the San Diego Padres organization. Now, I love the Padres. I, like a lot of the teams in the NL West besides the Dodgers. But I'll get to that point just a little bit later as the teams gear up and get ready to play. On the mound today, we had Cole Winn, who is one of our, better prospects in the organization. Obviously, super high potential. But he was not the only prospect I wanted to focus on in this game. Winn is at AAA because I want him to, have a good shot and see if he can actually get there before Leader to the show. But somebody who's already been at the show, Yohel Pozo, I really wanted to see because I really believe in him. There's also Josh Young, who's playing in the MLB as I speak, in real life anyway. But we have to see what all of these guys can do, and everyone on the AAA team, because there are still some veterans that are on this team that you have to look at, as the first pitch to Podorski is a strike. Cole Winn is in an interesting spot in the organization because normally when I start out these franchises, the first thing I do is revamp the entire everything, because the minor league system is generally just destroyed when I come in, because it's really bad. As there was a hit there. I'm not really focusing on the game too much, as you can tell, but Winn is in an interesting spot where he's young enough to where he has a good chance, of developing in the series because he has super high potential, but he's also at an overall point where, okay, in a couple years, especially if he develops well, he can take, that next step. And also, here's the guy I wanted to show you, Mackenzie Gore. I absolutely love Mackenzie Gore, and I, can't wait to see. I've actually acquired him in personal franchises of mine, just because he was actually pretty decent. I'm not recommending him as a great player, But just, I think Wynn definitely has a chance. We also get to see the leadoff catcher, Yohel Pozo. With Mitch Garver's future uncertain on the team, Pozo is my landmark future catcher right now. And I've also noticed a lot of the prospects that are in the top of the organization, or at least in the top of my view, are all signed out of Venezuela. So maybe I should go look in there for some prospects, as Pozo puts a big charge behind it, but not big enough. As you see the starting lineup full of, good prospects, and also, the older veterans like Carpenter and I forget, it's our fourth guy. I know I'm terrible, okay? But Josh Young does manage to get a hit. His future in the organization is pretty much set as the starting third baseman of the future. Willie Calhoun, that's who I was thinking of it. I was actually quite surprised to see his overall so low. Generally it is a lot better just in the past that I've seen, but Calhoun strikes out as Mackenzie Gore is, a top prospect in the Padres organization, and Calhoun will have his shot. I, certainly believe he still has playable ratings and he's still going to get there, but I'm not entirely sure how much he's going to impact early. Same thing with Matt Carpenter. As we get into some quick sim here with Cole Wynn pitching, he already gives up 2 runs in the first, 2 innings. As we do get a pickoff there, I was actually really happy with that pickoff, and I accidentally went into the game because I was excited for a second. But we got a pickoff there, and then a run scores. So this brings up a guy who I actually didn't even realize was still playing baseball professionally, Jake Marisnick. I was legitimately, shocked when I saw him on the team. He does get hit by a pitch here, so he will walk on to first. This brings up Josh Smith. But, yeah, a lot of the AAA guys, or maybe not a lot of the AAA guys, but most of the AAA guys will have a shot at some point to get into the majors and stay there. One guy I'm not entirely sure about is Chris Size, or C's. And, because we just have, other players, and I don't really know who he is, so I'm just, I need to look at him more in depth, but I feel like most of the players at AAA, I am at least, fairly certain, either due to overall or other situations, and I'm just 100% sure, okay, within X amount of time, and that X usually is within 4 years or 3 years, that this player is going to get at least an extended shot, at least 2 months or so in the majors. And do get a sacrifice fly here, so we get a run on Mackenzie Gore, and that's always happy. That's always good. But last hitter in this lineup that we're going to see is Dustin Harris, as he gets to a 1-2 count and Gore strikes him out. But from here on, it is quick sim. It's my favorite thing to do in the game because it lets you see, what's happening, but you don't have to see every single pitch. Just do it. Although sometimes you want to see every single pitch. As nothing goes there in the third for the Chihuahuas. Pozo gets a single, Calhoun gets on base to an error, and Carpenter hits a double. And all of a sudden we are back into it, only down by 1. But Cole Wynn was not having the best start of his career, and I'll definitely be looking, see how he does better, because pitching is one big thing that need to improve. The offense can succeed. I think we saw that at the major league level, but it's the pitching that I have zero clue about. John Gray's doing good. Everyone else is I think it's a bit too early. And as you see, we, I believe, take out Cole Wynn here for Deonis Santana or Brandon Workman, one of the two. It's been a while since I've actually played and reviewed this footage, and we did bring in Santana. But yeah, only 4 innings for Cole Wynn. Definitely not what you're looking for start off the season, but it's only the first start, and there's still AA that I can move him down to. I'm not afraid of doing that. As get past a couple innings here, Dennis Santana runs into a little bit of trouble with no outs, but he does get a strikeout, does get a fly out, runner advances, and then a single. So unfortunately couldn't provide that lead, or hold the lead I should say, as we do end up going to Brandon Workman, who does get the last out there. But in all honesty, not going to be focusing a crap ton, as I said, on the overall team's success in the minor leagues. Just, looking at a few prospects that I might, bring in towards the future. I think the top 3 of AAA, Pozo, Young, and Calhoun, are all definitely going to be, given at least a couple looks this season. And I would, of the 3, say Pozo has the best chance of being called up to the majors as far as this season. So, yeah. As we get to talking about the actual game here, deciding what pitcher to bring in is always a fun thing, as I decided to bring in Matt Bush in this tie game heading into the 8th. Broken by a solo home run, and then a hit by pitch for Matt Bush. Trying to pick off, but not working, gets a ground out, and then the offense has to show up as 2 Ks, new pitcher comes in. Get a walk from Pozo, but nothing comes of it. Bush stays in, maybe no, as it'll be Dan Winkler coming in, but he gives up a single, can't get the pick off, a double play, and then a fly out. And then now, Willie Calhoun, it's 3-4-5, with Ian Kroll on the mound. Unfortunately, he shuts it down, and the El Paso Chihuahuas beat the Round Rock Express 6-5. AAA loses their season opener. I think a lot of people might, say that Wynn and Leiter's starting positions should be reversed, that Wynn should start in AA, and Leiter should start in AAA. But basically, I didn't want them both to start. I wanted them both to be the ace in wherever they went, and I wanted Leiter to succeed more than Wynn, I guess. I want Wynn to prove it, and I want Leiter to have a good shot. But it's all about development, and I just wanted to, it's just how I thought about it at that particular time. Texas, by the way, earned a 4-0 victory over Miami in John Gray's second start. 8 innings, only 2 hits and 2 walks, as he did really well. We're gonna, start simming a little bit here as we get swept by Toronto, unfortunately, and split with Colorado, leaving us at 5-7. As I wasn't super concerned. Obviously, this season is not what I care about. Also, this Toronto game was Nick Tropiano's first start, and in John Gray's return, or I don't know if it was a return to Colorado, but a facing of his former team in Colorado, he does very well. 6.2 innings, no runs allowed. And next episode, we're going to go ahead and face the Angels as we head down to AA, see how they did. Round Rock only won 3 of their games against El Paso, but they'll start playing the Sugarland Skeeters, which is a fun team to play against. But as I was saying, I did want to get into LA, and then I noticed Dane Dooning was pitching against Shohei Ohtani, but John Gray had just pitched, and he wasn't scheduled to pitch any of the Angels' next games. But I'll return to that later, as here we get on to scouting. Scouting is really just a time-consuming thing that I won't talk too much about, but obviously we had needs everywhere, and I just by chance looked at Guadalupe Sanchez, and oh my gosh, he is one heck of a talent. 18 years of age, can play every position but first and catcher, and he's got high potential and overall. If that scouting report is anywhere near accurate, I would love to select him. But in general, we're only going to be looking for, or I'm going to be looking for 80 overall prospects, potential prospects that are, have high MLB ETAs. Most of them are pitchers, closing pitchers at that, and I don't necessarily need them, but I'm just going through everyone who has a 80 overall and a not 2026 plus ERA, or at least not ERA, ETA, as Brian Pulse also looked pretty good from Australia. But we are starting player scouting now, and we won't really check in on this a ton because there isn't, in my opinion, there isn't really a point to talk about prospects unless you're about to draft them. But Guadalupe Sanchez just caught my eye, and that is just one amazing prospect. Here's the new pitching rotation. John Gray is going to be the ace, which means he will pitch against Shohei Ohtani, which is going to be fun for me because we get to play Shohei Ohtani, and then we have John Gray, who is literally not allowed a run yet. Here's the lineup we are going in to LA with, as Andy Ibanez has been put into the starting lineup after doing well in his opportunities. But other than that, it's mostly the same I'd like to feel. No one's really pulling ahead in the AL West, as the Phillies are off to a 9-1 start in the NL East. Brewers also have 9 wins alongside the Giants, starting above the Dodgers, which was a little funny to me. But we'll see how the rest of the league progresses, and the Tigers somehow ahead in the AL Central. But next episode, we're going to go ahead and watch John Gray versus Shohei Ohtani, and I will see you all then.